Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Before we get started with today's repair, I just want to give a quick rundown on what was wrong with this console. These got sent to me by a customer for no power. I did live stream it on Twitch and I did find it rather interesting, so even though I do quite a lot of no power issues on the PlayStation 5 videos, this one was a little bit different, so thought it'd be interesting to actually make it into a video. Plus, got to get some of that YouTube border money. So, with that being said, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bell notifications. We're edging closer to 100,000 subscribers. And if you do need a repair, if you've got a PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, Steam Deck, laptop, MacBook, whatever it is, get in touch, get a quote, or if you're really bored out, you can just book it in using the link on the website. Click on the main repair section and you can book it in and send it over for repair. So with that being said, edging closer to 100k subscribers, thank you so much. Please hit subscribe if you're not already. Around about 70% of my viewers are not subscribed, so I would really appreciate it if you do subscribe. With that being said, let's get into this repair. Not a clue what's wrong with this one. Not a clue what's wrong with this one. Don't have the foggiest. Let's find out. It's no power. No. Okay, so it's completely no power. It's stone dead. Okay, we have screws missing where the fan's meant to be. How very odd. Still not powering on. Alright. Alright, so this is a customer job, by the way. Oh dear, it's absolutely filthy. Yeet! Ah, I lost it. Where's it gone? Oh. Get out. Get out. Now we can work on it. 4,000 screws later. There we go. You probably don't give a damn about what I've got to say, but just hear me out for a minute, alright? We all know that those sweaty little douchebags with cheesy fingers, living in the mom's basement, drinking Red Bull and simping over TikTok losers are gonna break the console. And you and I both know that you're too cheap to buy off eBay, you're too impatient to wait for AliExpress, and you're just about smart enough to avoid Amazon completely. You can admit it, because I'm exactly the same. That's why I started my online store, consolefix.shop. I'll sell every part you'll need to fix the Xbox One, Series S, Series X, PS4, PS5 and Nintendo Switch consoles. So why not give me the money instead of some random dude on eBay? At least if I have it, you know it's not going to waste on some stupid thing like promoted eBay listings or food for the kids or something. If you give me your money instead, I'll promise I'll use it on useful things, like buying views on TikTok. So before you decide to go to one of the more popular sites and line the pockets of some fat cat loser, take a look at my online store. Check out the link in the video description or the top pinned comment and get 10% off any order over £25 during checkout. Alright, now you can go back to watching this douchebag on YouTube trying to fix something.
You can't say stuff like that in an advert, dude.
You're not my dad, dude. Don't tell me what to do.
That's what you think, Phil.
Right, okay. So, now that it's finally apart, we can try and figure out what's going on. So I'm going to check for some voltage rails before I do anything. So I'm in voltage mode on the multimeter, as you'll see down in the bottom right hand corner. Do we have a 5-volt rail? No. We have no 5-volt rail, which means there is absolutely no point in going any further with voltage tests. We do, however, have a 12-volt rail. So we're not going to get a 5-volt rail there. That's dead short, actually. That's dead short on that 5-volt rail. Okay. Right. And now I bet you're wondering how I know it's dead short, aren't you? Does anyone know? Does anyone know? You're smart ass. capacitor. No, I haven't done any continuity tests. Still know it's dead short. Come on, I've explained this before. Someone should know. You don't need to do continuity tests to know whether it's short. You're the PS5 whisperer and it spoke to you. No. Come on, someone's got to know. I've checked for voltage. I've got no 5-volt rail. And I know, just by checking for voltage, that the 5-volt rail is short. How do I know that? How do I know that the 5-volt rail is short? How do I know that we're gonna fix this board? You're all wrong so far. No one's got the answer yet, because you're a technopath. Okay, Carlos got it. See, someone was paying attention. Someone was paying attention. Right, okay, so let me explain. Now that someone's finally got it. If you're testing for voltage and you get a rail which is missing, if that rail is showing some voltage, like for example, look at the multimeter now. Look at the multimeter here. See how it's bouncing up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. That's in voltage mode. There's always residual current everywhere. Everywhere. There's always residual current. Doesn't matter where it is. I can touch that with my fingers. And it'll pick up current. It'll pick up voltage. Alright? However, if there's a short on the rail, then technically the probes are short. Watch this. See? I'm in voltage mode. If the rail is short, then technically your leads are short. So it goes down to 0. It nulls your leads. It nulls the leads. So you don't need continuity mode if you're testing for voltage. You can see a short just based on what your multimeter's outputting in voltage mode. If I go into continuity mode on the board and I check that rail, I'll do it under the scope so as we can see. And so you can see where I'm testing as well. I'm going to be here below the HDMI, below the HDMI port. So we're supposed to get 5 volts on this transistor right here. Without that, no other rail is being generated. Absolutely no other rail is going to be generated. The only rail we've got is 12 volts, and that's because the power supply is working. So if we look here, we're supposed to get 5 volts. My beeper's off. If I turn my beeper on, drop my probe because I'm a rookie. Dead short on that 5-volt rail. Absolutely stone cold dead short. So if that's short, then we've got no 3.3 because it comes from the 5-volt here to 3.3. This 5-volt rail also comes over here to F7002. So that's also short. The fuse is good because the short's not here. That 3.3 volt rail is fine. But now we're just going to find out exactly where that 5-volt short is. There's a couple of things we can do. We can check here and see if this is short. At the bottom of the board near F7501. No, it's not. So we know that's not the issue. We know it's nothing to do with with this 5-volt rail here. So the best thing to do is inject voltage because that's going to be the fastest way to find the short. So I'm going to get my thermal camera and I'm going to check for heat spots. So we're going to go for overhead camera what I'll do is I'll inject voltage into that rail that's short and try and spot the shorted component. So I'll go for 1 volt, because I don't want to inject 5 volts just in case we short it to a lower power rail. I'll go for 1 volt into that line. Actually, let me get my macro lens, because we're probably going to need that. If anyone wants to know what thermal camera I use, it's an infrared P2 Pro. We don't need the macro lens yet. I just want to get a rough idea of where this short is. So I'll inject on that line. 4.5 amps of current draw. I see a heat spot. The heat spot seems to be coming from around here, but on the other side of the board. So these are actually part of the 5 volt line, these caps here. It looks to me though like we've got a shorted USB MOSFET. It's probably going to be one of these here around this area here. So I just need to find out first of all if there's anywhere on this side of the board I can test for a short, because obviously it's awkward testing for a short by injecting on the other side of the board. So I'm just going to find somewhere that's shorted to ground on this side, like there for example. So that's a 5 volt rail there. This is a SBVIC, a TVL62090, and that's short. So I can inject voltage there, and then that'll give me a, well, that will allow me to use the thermal cam on this side of the board. I could have soldered a wire, but it's easier just to find somewhere on this side of the board that's short. So I'll do that. And yeah, 4.4 amps. And yeah, it does look as though we've got a short on that USB circuit. Let's put the macro lens on and I can isolate it further. So right there, that cap right there, look at that. That capacitor right there is short. So someone probably had a surge on the USB circuit and that's taken out the capacitor. So if I inject voltage again with a bit of isopropyl alcohol over the top of it, just for confirmation, and yeah, you can see that's drying up. It's getting pretty damn hot. Now that's just going to be down to heat because of the capacitor getting hot, I would say. So the other components looking burnt. It's just going to be down to heat. There we go. Remove that capacitor, and we can get confirmation what are you? Are you a capacitor or are you a wire? You identify as a wire. So yep, no short on there anymore. No short there anymore. So if we test this now, there you go, short gone. So that capacitor is gone. See you, Mr. Cap. Let's replace it. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Pop some leaded solder on there. I'm going to grab a donor capacitor. EDM03 motherboard will do just fine. Same circuits, just different clothes. Okay. There we go. Should make sure that I didn't put a bad capacitor on there. Nope. Good. Okay. So now, because I've injected voltage, I do need to just check all of the fuses. Just make sure they're all good. Make sure I haven't blown any. Just make sure I haven't blown any fuses. Oh, move it, you stupid thing. Good. One more fuse on the other side. Good. Okay, we've got no blown fuses. Theoretically, this should work. And I'm going to check my boot sequence. Just see if we get a boot sequence now. $312 milliamps, and yes, we do. That is a boot sequence. Right, let's give it a quick test to make sure it powers on, and then as long as it powers on, I will clean the rest of the console out and give it a full test. Okay, we have another issue. I believe maybe a corrupted BIOS, because I didn't turn that on. I didn't press that power button. There is one thing I'm hoping here. Yeah, I was hoping it would go to a white light because, well, there's absolutely no protection on the USB circuit. But we possibly had a corrupted BIOS there and it might have just fixed itself. So if you've got a corrupted BIOS, it can press the power and disk drive buttons on its own. Let's just make sure it's turning on and booting. My hands are on there to make sure it's not overheating as well. So yeah, if your BIOS is corrupt, it's fixable, but if your BIOS is corrupt, it can press the buttons on its own, which is really, really strange. You might think that's a bit weird, but it can. That's why you get the triple beep when you've got a corrupted BIOS. Right, let's just see if it displays. That's that APU is staying fairly cool at the minute, but I will put the heatsink on. So what's likely to happen with... Damn it. What's likely to happen with this is it's probably had a power surge through the USB port. Someone's plugged a bad USB in or something. And that's fried the capacitor. That's the most likely scenario, because I'm not seeing any damage to the USB ports themselves. So I would say most likely scenario here is someone's plugged a USB dongle in or something that's either bad or caused some sort of surge on the 5-volt rail. So yeah, this caravan's haunted. Come on, you don't believe in that shit, do you? And there we go. She be working, boy. She be working, boy. That is one fixed console. One tiny little capacitor. Capacitor. I will get my words out eventually. You know what? It's 2:37 AM. I think I can mumble my words a little bit. FIFA virus incoming, probably. Let's find out, shall we? Let's put the antennas in. So one thing I'm going to need to do with this is test the USB ports. Make sure they work. Make sure it hasn't blown the transistors. One thing I don't have to hand at the minute are my USB testers. So I've got a HDMI tester, but I've also got USB testers as well. They're still in my old workshop right now, unfortunately. I think. I will double check, but... Right, antennas are in. I'm going to grab a USB cable and try and sync a controller. Okay, we have power. And we have controller sync, at least on that one. I need a USB type A. Let's just go back to that camera. Make sure wireless controller works. It does indeed. So there you go. Cool. Ah, no FIFA. Interesting. Well, there we go. Okay, let's grab. What do we want? We want a USB. We want something to test the USB with. We want to be able to test USB data as well, by the way. So I'm going to grab a SATA hard drive, and I'm going to use an external SATA USB thingy. USB port numero uno. Ugreen storage device, 500 gig. There you go. So that's in that port. Let's pop it in that one. There we go. Yep, that one's working. And that one. Come on. There we go. That's working. Everything's working. Good. All three USB ports are working. So the reason I've checked them straight away is because obviously we had a short on the USB ports. So always got to check those as a top priority. But yeah, there we go. It's working. Everything else should be okay. No, I don't care if you know my password. What are you going to do? Come and connect to my freaking internet? I don't care if you know my Wi-Fi password. What are you going to do? Log into Facebook? I don't care if people know my Wi-Fi password. Yeah, there we go. That's working. All good. Seems to be fine. It's working in 4K as well. Ah, there we go. Good stuff. Happy days. I've got audio as well. It's just my volume's down a little bit. Yeah, good stuff. I'll take it. That, my friends, is a win.